Hey, how's it going, Pokey people? We are starting off our upside down. We are starting off our Stellar Crown updated profiles with Raging Bolt. Not too much has changed with him. We've gained a new one prize attacker that we could use in lieu of the Slitherwing. I still like the Slitherwing. I think that it's good. If you want to continue playing with it in your deck, continue to do so. This is just a new option that I'm going to have in the deck for a little while to try things out. We are still playing 4 Raging Bolt EXs. We're still playing 3 Teal Mask Ogrepons. I usually used to play 4, but I've slimmed it down to 3. I will not go down to 5 Grass Energy. I think that's crazy. So you will not see that in this profile. We have 1 Luminion, 1 Squawkabilly, and 1 Pheasantipity EX for our support Pokemon. And then we have the new Koraidon that I'm talking about. It is a fighting type that you can see. I don't like how it has 130 HP because that's very cursed blastable. But you can use the Unrelenting Onslaught. Sorry, the camera won't focus. But let's see if I can get it to focus. And you know what? I'll just read it to you. It has a Overwhelming Onslaught. It does 30 damage for 2 colorless energy. And if one of your ancient Pokemon attacked in the last turn, this attack does 150 more damage. So the 180 that you can do if you attacked with a Raging Bolt on the previous turn, even though it has a prerequisite, 180 is a fair amount of damage. Any type of electric Pokemon that's weak to fighting is going to get insta-KO'd by like Iron Hands EX, Terapagos EX, and different things of the sort. I don't believe Squawkabilly... Let's see. Squawkabilly has a negative 30, so unfortunately you could not knock it out. You'd only be doing 150 because of his resistance. So you can't get that, but what you can get right here is a Luminion. And you also have your opponent's Pheasantipities are also weak to fighting. So there's things that you can get away with using this to take out 2 prize attackers, or just giving you a 1 prize option so that you can swing into things that you normally wouldn't be able to deal with. And he is an ancient Pokemon, so unfortunately the wording on his card says if in other ancient Pokemon, so he can't play off of himself, so you're only getting 1 turn of this before you're having to go back into attacking with Raging Bolt, so just keep that in mind. So we still have the Koraidon. We're playing an Iron Bundle and a Radiant Greninja. Of course, you want the Radiant Greninja for the card draw, and the Iron Bundle is to move things out of the active that you don't want there, or that your opponent might put up to try and put you at an inconvenience or make you take a prize card that you might not want to take. So we have that in there for that purpose. We're still playing 6 Grass Energy. I'm not going down to 5. I've seen a lot of people do that, and that is wacky. I cannot bring myself to do that. So you won't see that here on this channel. I have 3 Lightning Energy, 3 Fighting Energy. I think 633 is just the perfect number. I wouldn't go any lower on these, and I understand why they're doing 5. However, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. So we're having 3 Pokestop. We're playing 4 Professor Sada, because that's the supporter that you're going to want to try and play each turn. We're playing 1 Judge just because sometimes we do need a hand disruption. If you can get plenty of Teal Dances off and you can Professor Sada attach for turn, you can get an attack off, and on the next turn it's possible to get an attack and get a knockout without playing Sada again, so that you do have a turn where you can play Judge, or you... Sorry, there's an ant. There's an ant. There's a boss's order. I'm not in my house, by the way, so if anybody sees an ant and think that I live dirty, I don't. I'm actually in my shop right now. So, and not card store either, workshop. This is a boss's orders, and that's a Judge. So there are turns where you have either of those things that you can play because you sodded on 2 Raging Bolts on the previous turn. There are opportunities where you can play these cards so you don't have to sod every turn, because there are times where your opponent's going to have this massive hand, and you're going to want to either take a knockout or not let them keep that hand, because it's just going to give them everything they need to just wreck you. So you definitely have to play some form of hand disruption in this deck. There's never like an optimal time to use it, but there are times where it's not awful using it. That does it for supporter lines. For items, we're going to play 4 Nest Ball, 4 Earthen Vessel, 3 Energy Retrieval, 2 Night Stretcher, 2 Switch Carts, 2 Ultra Balls, 2 Prime Catchers, 2 Pokegear, and then we have 1 Pal Pad, we have 1 Prime Catcher, and we're playing the 3 Big Charms to protect our Teal Mask Ogerpons from getting 10 damage placed on him with a Hawlucha and then getting hit for 200 with Phantom Dive from either Regidrago or from a Dragapult deck. Both of those are pretty important. I think if you don't want to play the Luminion V, since I've been playing in the deck, I've seen how important and how useful it can be for just getting, Ultra Balling or just drawing into it and saying, oh, great, I can just go get Sada now, instead of relying on these Pokegears. If you don't want to play it in the deck, then you're definitely going to play Sada. You're going to want to play a 3rd Pokegear with that space. Like, pretty much all of these cards can be swapped around. Like, for instance, you could start playing with the Latias EX and then not having any switch cards in your deck. Or you could play with the Latias EX, so swap that over to here, swap this over to a Latias EX, and then just have 1 switch card for being able to switch without the use of an ability. But a lot of these cards are very maneuverable. Like, you can play 1 Ultra Ball and maybe go up a Pokemon Catcher. You could swap that out for a Latias, swap this over for a 3rd Pokegear. There are little tight changes that you can make to this deck to feel more comfortable for you, but I wouldn't go crazy. This deck's pretty solidified in that everybody's got a good idea of what it has to look like, and there are just a few, some of these are 4 of, some of these are 3 of, and there's a few variances in the deck. I mean, I think that's kind of where everybody started cutting down to 5 Grass Energies, that the list was so tight, but they wanted 4 of something. They wanted 3 of that. They wanted not having that, and they wanted 3, 4 of that. I think that's where this Grass Energy got removed from people's lists, was that they had to cut something, and everything was so important, they thought, okay, well, maybe take the thing that's 6 of and make it 5, so you're not cutting something else important. So I think that's where that ended up coming from. So I think this is a pretty tight list. I think the Slitherwing is still fine to play, but I like the Koraidon for itself. I like that it's colorless, so that you don't have to commit double fighting to it. You can Sada anything onto it, and it will serve that function of the attack. I do like that. That's a thing that you're not having to micro-think about what energy is going where. Because you're trying to get 2 fighting on the Slitherwing. This thing, you can just slap whatever's in the discard pile on it and get it going. So that is one benefit that it has over Slitherwing, and that you don't have to think about that. But again, that 130 HP is very Curse Blastable. I believe the Slitherwing had 140, right? Because it does 90 to itself, and then I believe so. So I may be wrong, I'm misthinking, but that 130 does mean that it can get OHKO'd by a Curse Blast, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it is a drawback, but it also serves a few kind of benefits. Try this list out, and tell me guys what you think, and I'll see y'all in the next video.